In the early hours of the 25th of June, 2025, a secret alliance led by Russia launched a barrage of stealth missiles at the United States' $13.15 billion floating fortress. At exactly 6:47 a.m. on a calm June morning, the USS Abraham Lincoln became the epicenter of a terrifying new kind of war. Swarms of unmanned submarines closed in. The USS Gerald R. Ford isn't just an aircraft carrier, it's a living war machine, where every heartbeat is a sensor system and every spinning propeller is a tactical response. In the silent depths of the ocean, this colossal beast appears to be asleep, but that silence sends chills down your spine. Stealth cruise missiles skimmed quietly across the water, and somewhere deep below, silent nuclear predators lurked. But in a shocking turn, American steel and cunning flipped the trap, leaving wreckage on the ocean floor and sending a chilling message across the globe. Let's uncover how it all unfolded. At exactly 6 a.m. on a calm June morning, the USS Abraham Lincoln cruised through the icy waters of the North Pacific with an almost deceptive sense of certainty. This floating fortress, over 1,092 feet long, displacing more than 100,000 tons, and carrying nearly 90 advanced aircraft, stood as the embodiment of American sea power. Every system on board was programmed to react in under 3 seconds. Beneath the massive steel hull of the USS Gerald R. Ford lie 2 nuclear reactors capable of propelling it at speeds over 30 knots indefinitely. A $13 billion military marvel, carrying over 5,200 lives and surrounded by multi-layered defenses like a mobile fortress in the heart of the ocean. Flanking both sides are 3 Aegis cruiser strategic neural arms of the fleet with vertical launch tubes packed with SM-6 interceptors, ready to fire at a moment's notice. Beneath the surface, 2 Virginia-class submarines glide silently like ghosts, forming an invisible shield, quiet yet deadly. This isn't just a strike group, it's a living war organism, programmed to breathe, react, and strike in sync with every radar pulse. Beneath the deceptively calm surface, a nerve-wracking battle unfolds, not with gunfire, but with a silence so precisely programmed it chills the spine. No shots need to be fired. They simply approach, then vanish, as if they were never there. Every movement of the U.S. fleet seems to be caught inside a test engineered to dissect every reflex, every protocol, every weakness that has never been exposed. Silence here is not an empty void, it's a technique of attack, an art of observation sharpened to the point of becoming a weapon. No missile needs to be launched. because the real strategy lies in making the enemy reveal themselves. That is the perfect move. On the flight deck, rows of F-35Cs stood like swords resting on the shoulders of a giant. The catapults were still searing hot, the radar dish sweeping steadily across every subtle shift on the horizon. Below deck, the Combat Information Center pulsed like the nervous system of a living creature, glowing in the dark, precise to the pixel. And then, the first crack in confidence appeared. A faint, unfamiliar echo at a depth of 50 meters, too precise to be a whale, too refined to be drifting debris. CIC sonar calling. New contact. Idaho 071. Range, 12,000 yards. Depth, 50 meters. Moving in sync. Possible, unmanned. The voice over the intercom was dry, but sharp as a blade. The alarm pierced the air. A freezing chill sliced through the deck like needles plunging into the warship's bloodstream. Within seconds, the entire strike group surged into yellow alert. Officers folded their charts with urgency, and crew members bolted to their stations. Aboard the Lincoln, the Seahawk rotors screamed to life, tearing across the ocean's surface like iron talons hunting in the shadows. And in that momentum, amid tons of steel, streams of data, and the sheer force of technology, a chilling truth emerged. Even the most powerful, the most sophisticated systems can be turned into blind spots with nothing more than a single click from the other side. From divers to admirals, everyone understood one thing. If they didn't uncover the rules of this game in time, next time might not be just another exercise. Emser, and with every radar sweep, every Seahawk rotor slicing through the wind, every encrypted command issued from the war, Rumiak was silently, precisely, and relentlessly recorded by the enemy, without missing a beat. In this battle, time didn't pass meaninglessly. It was measured in reflexes, in mouse clicks, and in the brutal truth that even a single second of lost vigilance could become a fatal weakness. Inside the command center, each sonar ping echoed like a strike to the spinal cord every second, carrying the weight of potential fracture. The real fear wasn't in what had appeared, but in what had yet to surface. Technicians moved with near unconscious speed, hands executing commands with surgical precision, eyes scanning digital graphs like neural artists, orchestrating warfare from within the shadows. The weapons crews moved with rapid precision, unlocking armed missiles and prepping the phalanx CIWS systems. Then, an unexpected signal surged in from the east. These weren't ordinary missiles. They flew erratically, hugging the sea surface to evade radar at speeds reaching Mach 1.5. The onboard computers instantly flagged them as drone-class attack vehicle, capable of loitering and programmed for final kamikaze strikes. The commanders didn't order an attack, they ordered analysis. Every signal, every microscopic electrical pulse was decoded using top-secret military algorithms. On the deck, the wind howled through helmets, the scent of hot metal mixed with sweat, creating a dense atmosphere like a storm on the verge of eruption. We couldn't see the enemy, yet we were forced to reveal everything we had at our strongest stand, that was the sharpest strike of all. A faint signal flickered at the edge of the combat zone, then vanished as if it had never existed. But that single moment triggered the entire emergency response mechanism. UAVs were deployed, radars spun without pause, and sonar waves swept relentlessly through the deep. Every passing second became a nerve-wracking duel, where even a 0.1-second miscalculation could shatter the entire strategy. At Mach 0.9, they surged forward like unstoppable supersonic phantoms. Aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, alarms howled through the air, ripping it apart. Damage control teams had just reached their stations when the first explosion slammed into the starboard side, shaking the launch deck and tearing an F-35C into shards of razor-sharp metal that spiraled across the flight deck like artillery shrapnel. Seconds later, the second warhead struck the port side. The armored plating held strong, but a fuel line on the flight deck ruptured, spewing fire toward a cluster of aircraft being refueled. In that suffocating moment, the sailors did not retreat. They charged into the inferno, hauling foam hoses like they were dragging hope from the jaws of death, as secondary explosions roared like the scream of twisted metal. And through all the chaos, the massive nuclear heart of the Lincoln kept beating steady, deep and powerful, a reminder to the enemy that this beast had not fallen. The turbines kept screaming, thrusting the massive beast forward at astonishing speed, even as black smoke spiraled into the sky like desperate exclamation marks. This wasn't just the aftermath of an attack, it was the unspoken declaration of an invisible, calculating enemy. This was no reckless strike. For the first time in decades, a U.S. aircraft carrier bears scars not just from fire and steel, but from the haunting doubt of its own invincibility. And we're witnessing it. If this made your heart race, don't forget to subscribe, because this clash is only just beginning. At 8:12 sharp. The flight deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln was still smoldering, its steel scorched, littered with twisted debris like the broken teeth of a rope. But the damage control teams had reclaimed the battlefield. boots stomped over hot metal, and the catapult the giant mechanical marvel roared back to life once more. The nuclear reactors remained unyielding, breathing out endless power like the steel heart of America. Launch the birds. The command struck like thunder and, almost instantly, two MQ-25 Stingrays drive opped onto the deck. Their wings flexed under absolute pressure, then tore into the sky like twin steel needles, stitching back the fabric of strategic balance. The hunt had begun. At 25,000 feet, the two MQ-25 Stingrays soared like divine eyes, flying over 200 nautical miles, slicing through the sky, tearing open the veil of tactical fog. Within minutes, their synthetic aperture radar and EO/IR systems swept the ocean surface clean, scanning every hotspot and streaming vivid, real-time data straight back to the command center aboard the Lincoln. The flight deck emitted unusual heat signatures, not from cargo, but from advanced communication systems and specialized antenna clusters. This wasn't a merchant vessel. It was a central spider coordinating, a web of UUVs and low-profile surface drones, a disguised mobile command station, engineered to strike without ever revealing itself. The target confirmation order was sent. Prepare to engage. The order was issued in silence, tense as a drawn bowstring. Aboard the nearby USS Mobile Bay, the vertical launch cells gave a subtle shudder. Thena's sharp, thunderous roar tore through the air as two NSM cruise missiles shot upward and instantly dipped low, skimming the surface like blades slicing across water. At that very moment, from a hidden airstrip buried deep within the Mirage Zone, two MQ-9BC Guardians were satellite coordinated into action banking into the fight. They flew in a converging path, tightening the jaws of a deadly pincer. As the NSMs closed in just 10 nautical miles out, the mothership suddenly erupted into a flurry of response. The CIC erupted in a quiet wave of cheers. The screens just minutes ago flickering with hostile signals were now wiped clean by successive strike waves. Thanks to a combination of steady nerves, unmatched naval coordination, and technology battle-tested under fire, the U.S. Navy reclaimed the initiative from its invisible enemies. By 9:05 a.m., the surface battle was nearly over. The smoldering remains of the mothership burned on the horizon, releasing columns of oily smoke into the pale sky. The Abraham Lincoln Strike Group had just endured a cutting-edge multi-domain assault waves of unmanned aircraft, stealth cruise missiles, and swarms of UUVs. Nameless vessels launched their surprise attack in silence, serving as a sobering wake-up call for the U.S. military. What about you? Do you think this is just the opening move in a much larger war? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into modern naval warfare, make sure to subscribe and help our channel keep bringing you the latest frontline stories.